Battle at Bull Street pregame show.
Welcome back to Sacred Park once again, top of the half hour here, and we've got plenty more to go. We got another 2.5 hours before game starts here in Game 2.
Oh, that's going to fly by.
Clemson and South Carolina. Hey, the first 30 minutes did, so let's keep it rolling.
Yeah.
And we've got a special guest to start off this 12:30 show. We're going to send it down to sports director Rick Henry, who's standing by with South Carolina head coach Paul Mainieri. Got the big win last night, Rick. How's Paul doing right now?
Yeah, we're in the dugout with Coach Mainieri. Paul, great win for your Gamecocks last night as you win game one of this series. What did that do for just the overall momentum for you and this series as you get ready for game two this afternoon?
Well, Rick, I don't want to downplay it. It was obviously a great win for our team and for the program. The guys were very enthusiastic. A wonderful crowd. They were really into the game. It was a wonderful atmosphere. And happy we won. It was winning the first game of the series, but now it's time to turn the page. What happened yesterday doesn't mean anything today. Now, what was the manager's name that created the saying, momentum in baseball is today's starting pitcher. So hopefully Am Phillips will give us a good start like we got out of Josh Gunther last night.
Yeah, Josh Gunther, he was exceptional. Gave you 7 innings, struck out 10, and he really looked good.
He was awesome, and I wasn't surprised at all, Rick. From the time he's been on campus throughout fall practice and the early preseason, he was really one of our top couple pitchers, and probably should have been in the rotation to start with, except for the fact that we knew that the starting pitchers would only go 4 innings. So I thought he was more valuable pitching the second half of the game, which in the opening day, that really worked out well. Not so much last weekend, but this week I just thought it was the right thing to do to start him on Friday, and he performed like I thought he would.
And the coach told me a couple of seconds ago, the biggest problem he had yesterday, they couldn't get an accurate weather forecast. So what would you like to say to our meteorologist?
I think he'll do great. It's still cloudy out. I'm still waiting for the sun to make an appearance. But last night was crazy because there was nothing on the radar, and yet it was raining at Founders Park. And, man, our fans were great. They stuck it out and waited an hour and 45 minutes. Fortunately, the game was only 2.5 hours, so they were home by midnight.
All right, Coach, thanks a lot. Good luck for you today. And game two, the battle at Bull Street continues at Sacred Park. All right, we're going to take a quick timeout, and we'll be right back with much, much more.
watching the Battle at Bull Street pregame show.
The combination between the Gamecocks and Clemson Tigers on the field, and right here in the broadcast booth between Fox Carolina and WIS. Rick Henry is making his way back to the set after a great interview with Paul Maneri, so we want to hit on the other side of this rivalry with the Clemson Tigers and Eric Bakich, who I had the pleasure of sitting down for a one-on-one interview with, which is great. You can watch that on foxcarolina.com right now on our Palmetto Sports page, and we're also being broadcast live to you right here on Palmetto Sports and Entertainment Network. But let's hear about what the coach is most proud of this team's season so far, which up until last night was an undefeated season, one of just about 15 teams in the country still undefeated up until last night. And let's hear from the coach what he's most proud of and what he's most looking forward to seeing about this rivalry.
The same wind that extinguishes someone's flame on a candle is also that same wind that ignites a forest fire. And so we have to be able to, when that chaos, that wind comes, we have to thrive in it. We have to love it. It's got to ignite us. We want to perform in those chaos environments where things are going haywire and it's feeling like it's going a million miles an hour. We have to be the team that loves that.
And there you see the Clemson baseball team taking batting practice, which they will need because last night they were held scoreless for the first time in almost 30 games. And let's check in one more time with the great ball coach Eric Bakich about his mentality of leaning into the chaos of this environment, which his team did not do that good of a job of last night, hoping to do a better job here at Segra Park in the batting practice and in the matchup that's taking place at 3 o'clock. But a very colorful example from the coach right here.
Yeah, it starts with our mental game because everything from the neck up will allow everything from the neck down to be precise when it comes to execution. If we get sped up from the neck up, we'll have the wrong chemicals in the brain flowing, and we don't want to be in fight or flight when we're trying to play baseball at the same time. So for us, it'll be in these big type moments, big, huge environments. It'll be about slowing it down and being able to go automatic. And for us, going automatic is something we've been training for since August, and that's exactly what we're going to try to do this weekend.
And like I said, that full interview is on foxcarolina.com. But, Julia, the Bakichisms are always a joy. And in that case, it's about leaning into the chaos of the environment that, like we talked to Brad, the GM and president of the Fireflies here in Columbia, is probably going to get wild in just a couple hours.
Well, it's been so fun seeing the stuff that you guys put together from that interview and all of his different Bakichisms. But I got to ask you guys, we haven't seen it yet, but he talks about hay in the barn, horses in the barn. Can you tell me a little bit about that one?
Something's in the barn.
Yeah, I think the hay is in the barn and the horses, it's time for the horses to ride.
Horses to ride.
Yes.
You know, we have plenty of time. We're going to have another 2 hours to kind of break down these Bakichisms because I need to learn some more. But he's really got that way of, motivating his team.
He does, and motivating us to be here also, Carolina.
Right.
What did you take from the hay is in the barn, time to let the horses ride from Bakich?
I think that means the same thing as the same flame that he was just talking about in that soundbite of like, it's time to go. You know, you got to lean into the chaos, you lean into the crowd, lean into this rivalry, and hey, it's time for the Tigers to go to the hay, right? Maybe Tigers eat hay too. I don't know. Maybe they're on their way to the barn, wherever that is. But we're going to take a quick break, guys. We'll maybe get to the bottom of that by the time we get to the end of this show. But we'll take a quick break. We'll be right back with you guys here in a few minutes.
At Lexington Health, we want you to lead a long and healthy life. Our experienced providers offer online scheduling and same-day appointments at locations all across the Midlands. Let our team help you find a primary care provider who's right for you. Visit lexhealth.com/primary care or call 803-935-8562. Be well.
At Wilson Heating and Cooling, we take pride in offering expert HVAC services that cater to all your heating, cooling, and air quality needs. Our team of expert HVAC technicians specialize in delivering amazing customer service and customer experience. With emergency HVAC service 7 days a week and a variety of affordable HVAC services to choose from, we ensure your home comfort is never compromised. Wilson Heating and Cooling. Call us at 803-996-3322.
Street pregame show.
And welcome back to the Battle at Bull Street. Want to thank Coach Paul Maneri of the Gamecocks for being gracious enough to spend some time with us. And right now we're going to go back outside to Keisha, and I think she may be thinking about lunch at this point. Hello, Keisha.
Hey, Rick. Man, we are having such a good time out here. Let me tell you, we are out here at Segra Park, Battle at Bull Street, and of course we're a little hungry. What do we have here?
We've got Cousins Maine Lobster in Columbia, the first truck in Columbia, South Carolina. We're pumped to be here. We've got lobster rolls, lobster tacos, lobster quesadilla, chowder bisque. Come see us.
Stop, my mouth is watering.
Well, this is for you. Later, I'm going to give you some food.
Oh, I'm about to try it.
It might be cold because we've been waiting a bit, but no, just kidding.
So tell me, like, are you Tigers? Are you guys Gamecocks?
I'm a Gamecock alum. Yeah, but we love the state of South Carolina, and this truck is going to support the entire state. Absolutely.
Oh, that's amazing. Okay, let's go try this.
We're going to do this? Okay. This is the Connecticut lobster roll. I don't know if you can see it there. It's our lobster meat from Maine.
Oh!
Warmed in a little bit of butter. Put on our toasted and buttered bun.
Okay, ready?
Moment of truth.
Moment of truth.
Keisha, better be good, better be good.
10 out of 10, y'all. 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10. That is so good. Oh, wow, that is so good. But there's so many people out here, too. Like, wow.
Yeah, this is, go ahead. Let's hear it. She's got too much food in her mouth, folks.
I know.
Yeah, this is our 87th truck throughout the country. Cousins Maine Lobster. We're pumped to be here. We'll be doing catering, going to all different locations throughout Columbia and far beyond. Matt and Dave are running the show. We're pumped to be here.
That is so amazing. Is it a family affair? I mean, they have a whole crew, y'all.
Absolutely.
Look over here. They have a whole crew. How are you doing today?
I'm doing so good. How are you?
Good.
Good.
Tell me, what is your role?
So I am the marketing manager, and I also schedule where the truck goes, so you can follow us on Facebook, check out our app, and check out our website.
And you got to tell me, are you a Gamecocks? Are you a Tigers?
I'm a Gamecock alum.
She's my daughter, too.
Yep.
Oh, it's a family
I'm the oldest of 4 girls.
That is so amazing.
Yep.
Y'all, this is going to be absolutely amazing. Back to you, Rick.
Yep.
All right, thanks, Keisha. And we want to order 4 of whatever she was having.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, because it looked like it was out of this world good.
She was jumping up and down.
I know. That was
We're in
like
the
a home run
outfield. We
celebration.
take delivery.
Okay, now tomorrow the series shifts to Clemson Doug Kingsmore Stadium, and they've got some pretty decent food there, right?
They sure do. That long-standing tradition of the Cajun Cafe. It was from some Cajuns who were raging, apparently, all the way up to the upstate.
Whoa.
And then they came in and they started curtailing the menu out there in right field. And there's a special item for when the Gamecocks visit. You have to check out this piece right here.
It's not a stadium experience. It's kind of a family experience.
Go Tigers.
Clemson grad Mark Turner co-founded the Cajun Cafe in 2002.
It grew bigger than I ever thought, okay? It became from kind of a joke to something pretty cool.
It's grown to serve 160 Tigers fans in right field.
Tigers #1 all the way. Omaha, baby!
Almost all of them for more than a decade.
We've essentially become a restaurant. Just didn't realize it. Plus, my staff is the best of the best. They've been with me for over 8 years.
Mark's staff, a dozen volunteers coming 2 hours before the game and staying 2 hours after, with a special supervisor.
I'm the Cajun Cafe mom.
Leading their foodie family.
So this is the grill. Most of them all grew up together in Seneca, went to school together. It's family, and that's the way we think about it.
With a timeless Tigers tradition.
These little smoke bombs, we'll put them in there and we can light them. We used to do them on home runs for celebration or when we needed the rally smoke, but Fire Marshal doesn't like that all the time.
Clemson grads like Bubba Britton waiting years for a seat at the table.
Let's go Tigers!
The Cajun Cafe is, to me, the greatest experience in not just Clemson athletics, but any athletics opportunity. When you break bread with family, it's a whole different experience.
The baseball diamond dining room spanning 3 Clemson coaches.
I think it's awesome. I always joke, if I ever get ejected, that's where I'm going. But it's great. It's a rowdy section. It gives us energy. We hear them, we feel it, we love it. And I think there's a whole nother level of growth for the Cajun Cafe. I would love to see the Cajun Cafe be a 12-month-a-year restaurant that serves the Clemson community right out there.
They already have the menu for it, catered to their opponent. Dogs against Georgia, Irish against Notre Dame, and of course, chicken against the Gamecocks.
Thank you. This is terrible. I got you. Boy, you be good.
Chicken against the Gamecocks, you could have guessed that. And since then, beer sales have actually become a thing at Doug Kingsmore Stadium, so we'll see what the combination of food and drink, the atmosphere that we get out there tomorrow to complete this series, Caroline.
Yeah, well, first of all, beer and baseball just kind of go hand in hand, so I mean, that makes sense, but I know that these games are played at kind of a different variation of parks every year, of course, one in Columbia, one in Clemson, and one neutral site, but it seems like from what we've seen in the last few minutes, regardless of where you're at, you're going to get some pretty good eats no matter where you are. I know that you guys have a favorite here, right?
Oh, Rick and I can speak to it. There's a plate of nachos that you can get basically right behind home plate. I think it was one of the first games of the Fireflies season last year.
Right. It was huge. You could have fed a family of 4.
But the thing is we fed a pair of 2. Rick and I
Yeah.
decimated that thing.
It's not about numbers.
And we might do it today. I don't know. Stay tuned.
That's great. Well, hey, speaking of the atmosphere, let's check out this video of the student section that I first noticed at the NCAA regional round a couple seasons ago, and now they've gotten an official name after the marketing of the Fox Carolina team. So an NIL deal, we'll see if we can work it out, but now they're calling themselves the Jervy Junkies. This group of students not paying for tickets, and also this was before you could drink inside Doug Kingsmore Stadium.
Whoa.
So they had their koozies for the Tigers as well, but they're on the McFadden Academic Building overlooking Doug Kingsmore Stadium. So they figured out a loophole. That's the college education that you get at Clemson. And here's some of those students talking about the student section we very well could see tomorrow.
You know, the things that we put the target on off the field, in the classroom, character traits and leadership and how they conduct themselves is showing up on the field as well. And so that's what I would be most proud of. But it's all very necessary for us to be the team we want to be down the road. We need that adversity. So I'm looking forward for them to be in the most hostile environment they'll be in, arguably until the postseason.
And in my interview with Eric Bakich, he's very excited for the fans to enjoy themselves as much as they can to create that rowdy atmosphere.
Yeah, at South Carolina's old ballpark, Sarge Fry Field, it's much smaller. The fans are a lot closer.
Yeah.
And they used to have the third base hecklers. There were some mainly students, and a member of that group, David Cloninger, who's now a reporter for the Charleston Post and Courier. All right, that's going to do it for this segment of the Battle at Bull Street pregame show. Taking a time out, we'll be right back. And welcome back to the Battle at Bull Street. This is Game 2 of the big baseball rivalry series between the Gamecocks and the Clemson Tigers. We're here at Segra Park, the home of the Columbia Fireflies. And, Julia, the Gamecocks, they came into last night's game 6-3. 3 losses to, non-Power 4 teams, including that embarrassing loss earlier this week, the Queen's University, 9-8. But, hey, a big win last night, so they're rejuvenated.
Absolutely, and I mean, we've been talking about that as we've gotten, 10 games into this season, where Coach Palmetto has been talking about, just turning the page. And I mean, for a second there, I feel like it was probably difficult for fans to truly, buy into that and say, hey, are they truly turning the page? But with a game like last night, I think this could be a turning point based on what happens today. It's like, okay, they did this last night. Huge win for the program. First time you've beat Clemson since 2023. So can they build on this and in turn maybe kind of shift the narrative of what they've built so far early in the season, Rick?
Yeah, it's like Coach Maneri said when I talked to him just a little while ago. He doesn't want to downplay what they did last night, but just keep it in perspective. It's only one game, one win. You got 2 more games left with your rival, and then you're going to be jumping into SEC play. So you don't want to say, woohoo, we've made it. We're back on top. No, good win. You're going the right way. Can you keep going in the right direction?
Right. It's not quite a Ric Flair woo, but it is a subdued woo because in that same breath, you're talking about losses to Northern Kentucky, Army, and then Queens, like you mentioned at the top of our broadcast here, Rick. Queens just started their baseball program, and their first ever win over a Power 4 conference opponent was the Gamecocks just recently. But a big turning point. Palmetto's first win in this rivalry, even though it is only his second season, but it could catapult the Gamecocks going forward.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think you could think about this, we are so early in the season. I mean, it's February the 28th. The season started on February the 13th. I mean, we're only 2 weeks in. So not to downplay those 3 losses that they do have, but if you think about it in the same way that you think about college basketball, right? It's like we're not really thinking about some of those non-con losses by the time you get to this point in the college basketball season in March. You're not thinking about the fact that, so-and-so lost to so-and-so because it was in the non-conference. Like, really, in terms of tournament play and stuff, like, the SEC play is really like what's going to come into play and how well they do in conference. And a lot of teams are finding their identity at this point in the year. Like I said, we're 15 days into the season, so we are also getting closer to finding out what is going to go on with the weather coming up in this game. So we're going to send it back over to Chandler and just kind of see how things are shaping up as we continue getting closer to game time here. Chandler?
Yeah, we've been pretty locked in with cloud cover through the first part of the day. We've still got some drier air that's filtering in from our north, and so that's going to continue to break up these clouds. You can see across our Segra Park camera. South Carolina currently in the middle of doing some batting practice, some fielding work as well ahead of today's game. Temperatures, again, still a little cooler because of us being locked in with some cloud cover throughout the first part of the morning and into the early afternoon. Here at Segra Park, our temperature 55 degrees. So we're getting a little bit better. We had some upper 40s, low 50s this morning. The afternoon will continue to improve, especially as we get some sunlight back. And looking at our satellite radar loop, you can tell the dry air doing what it can to try and break up these clouds. Looking closely here at our satellite radar loop, I can see a little bit of the cloud cover breaking up across parts of Lexington, Richland, Kershaw counties, right around the ballpark. So it's just a matter of time before things get a little bit better for us as we head throughout the next couple of hours. And so that's what we're going to look out for, is that sunlight slowly returns as we head throughout the next hour or two, especially closer to 2 and 3 o'clock as we look ahead to first pitch here, which is at 3:15. As we get into Game 2, the neutral site series here at the Battle at Bull Street, we're still going to stay cloudy for at least another hour or so. And then once we get into the afternoon, closer to first pitch at 3:15, that's where we're going to have some sunlight filtering through. As sunlight begins to filter in, that's where temperatures are going to start to improve. We'll have some 60s on the board a little later today as we get into the second half of the day, closer to first pitch. So looking like things are going to get better for us over the next couple of hours.
All right, thank you, Chandler. And so far, you're keeping us dry, so we appreciate that. Yes, and just bring the temperature up just a little bit more.
Yes.
And that'll be fantastic baseball weather.
It really will be, because I know our Palmetto sports reporter Ella Grogan was grinding out there. Julia, you were too. But it didn't seem to deter the fans very much with the rain delay yesterday. They still brought that intensity, and clearly the Clemson players could feel it because there were some uncharacteristic mistakes in their first road game last night.
That's true. And, hey, we're going to feel all of the fun and excitement because we are not done here at this desk. We've done our first hour almost to this point, and we are going to go for another 2 hours. So we want to let you know how you can find us. We are going to shift over to a completely digital coverage. So we're going to throw up a QR code on your screen so you can download our app to watch us for the next 2 hours as we get ready for this battle at Bull Street. Here we go. There's the QR code. Here is how to watch. And we're going to keep things rolling, guys. I'm excited. This has been a great first hour, and we're just going to keep it going.
Yeah, it's been fun, guys. Don't forget you can scan that QR code on your screen right there. That's how you'll be able to watch us. Like Julia said, we've got 2 hours of this thing. We got a whole lot to talk about. We told you we'd get to the bottom of the hay and the barn situation, so stick with us because we will try to get there. But yeah, guys, keep up with us as we transition over to the website. So thank you so much for those who have tuned in so far. We hope you stick with us as we get on to the online website.
See you online.
At Lexington Health, we want you to lead a long and healthy life. Our experienced providers offer online scheduling and same-day appointments at locations all across the Midlands. Let our team help you find a primary care provider who's right for you. Visit lexhealth.com/primary care or call 803-935-8562. Be well.
At Wilson Heating and Cooling, we take pride in offering expert HVAC services that cater to all your heating, cooling, and air quality needs. Our team of expert HVAC technicians specialize in delivering amazing customer service and customer experience. With emergency HVAC service 7 days a week and a variety of affordable HVAC services to choose from, we ensure your home comfort is never compromised. Wilson Heating and Cooling. Call us at 803-996-3322.
Bull Street pregame show.
And welcome back to our Battle at Bull Street pregame show. And there's a look outside Segra Park. You can see folks gathering, coming up, getting ready to watch Game 2 of the Carolina-Clemson baseball series. Segra Park is the home field of Columbia's minor league team, the Columbia Fireflies, and they had a great season last year. Won the South Division of the Carolina League and came within one win of winning the entire championship. Right now, we're going to go outside the ballpark to Keisha Chestnut. Keisha, what's happening out there now?
Of a rivalry, a team divided, a household divided, you guys. I have Sarah with me, and I also have Toy. How are y'all doing today?
Good.
Good. So tell me, how does this come to be? I mean, father and daughter duo. How did you guys get split?
Well, I tried to raise her the right way, but she chose her own path.
That's to go with the winning team.
So what is your favorite sport?
Women's basketball, for sure, but he's a huge baseball fan, so he's I go with him. He's pulled me into it.
Okay, so let's see, what would happen if they do win or lose?
We'll both go out happy.
Usually we'll do a bet. So last year you had to wear the Gamecock hat to dinner after the game. So we might do that tonight.
Yeah. Okay, no, you should definitely bring that bet back. That would be absolutely hilarious.
This just in case. I have to.
You actually have it on you.
Well, I have to get a picture with it if something happens.
Perfect. So you're a baseball fan, a football fan?
Baseball, huge baseball fan.
Love that. Perfect. Well, guys, it was so lovely meeting you. Thank you for talking to me today.
Thank you.
Go Gamecocks.
Go Tigers.
Oh, it's a house divided, y'all. Back to you, Rick.
You know, this is a fierce rivalry across all sports, but unlike a lot of fierce rivalries, this is a small state, and you have your two major universities, so you wind up going to elementary school with your rival, going to church with your rivalry, getting married to your rival.
Oh, man.
Wow. That would be a tough house divided.
Yeah, that happens a lot. So
well, you see those license plates too, where they've got it on
both
sides, house divided. I've seen that for a lot of rivalries, but you see that a good bit down here.
Yeah, a lot of people sleeping with the enemy, Carmine.
Oh my gosh! Yeah. And then you bring me in. What a setup! That might have been a rival statement to try and lead me into something.
Hey, last year was Paul Maneri's, the USC head baseball coach, his first introduction to the rivalry. And so it kind of took him by surprise because he had never experienced anything like that. And I had a chance to sit down with him for an extended interview. And, yeah, here we are talking about the rivalry and his first time going through it.
Well, I have to say this, Rick. It caught me a little bit by surprise, the intensity of the rivalry itself. I mean, it's the third week of the college baseball season, and it's all anybody ever asked me about in Columbia is about Clemson this, Clemson that. It's almost like more important to people than the SEC games. You know, I didn't have a rival like that when I coached at my previous school. You know, there was LSU, and then there was everybody else. But in this state, obviously, and now you add in Coastal Carolina, who almost won the national championship, but the rivalry between Clemson and South Carolina is as intense as anything I've ever experienced. You know, it wasn't that I was playing it down at all, but you know, you just don't know your team as well as you would like to know them by the third week of the season. You know, I always figured that the goal is to have them ready by week 5 when you start your SEC play. So it just kind of expedites everything. The format itself, I think, is really cool. You know, you play one game at each place and you play a neutral site game. I think that's really fair, and you know, I think it's exciting, and everybody gets a taste of a home game, so your crowds are going to be big at your home ballpark. I remember when we played in Greenville last summer, we actually had a lot of South Carolina support in the stadium that day as well. Clemson obviously is a very difficult place to go to, especially since they moved their bullpens down there next to the dugout. The fans are standing right there at the wall, but you know, we're excited. You know, we get to have the Friday night game at home this year, and hopefully we will be playing good baseball when the series begins, and hopefully we can get off to a good start this year.
Had you ever heard anything about the Carolina-Clemson baseball rivalry? I know a lot of people around the country know something about the football matchup.
You couldn't ignore it. I mean, of course, there were two really high-quality baseball programs, and they were right in the same state, and you figured that it was a great rivalry. But I was so busy with my other jobs, I wasn't like focused in on it, except just being a college baseball fan. I would follow it, but I didn't understand, as I mentioned earlier in this interview, I didn't understand the intensity that really permeated, not just in baseball, but in all the sports between the two schools. So I'll be much better prepared for it this year.
Well, what are maybe some of the interesting comments you've gotten from fans out and about when they talk about that rivalry?
Well, like I said, sometimes it seems more important to them than even the SEC games. I can't tell you how many times I've walked through a supermarket or sat in a restaurant and somebody would come up to me and wish me well, and they would finish by just saying, and just make sure you beat Clemson. Like, it's really important to people. I understand that. So it's something that I embrace, I understand. But, at the same time, regardless of whatever the results are, win, lose, or draw in the series, you got the whole SEC schedule ahead of you. So at the time, you pay, it's the most important thing in the world. But, when it's over, you have to have enough maturity, whether you had a great series or a poor series or something in between, you still have to turn the page and know that you got a lot of baseball left that year.
I know coaches want to treat every game the same, but for the guys from out of state who may not be familiar with the rivalry, do you make a point to tell them, hey, we got this series with a team from the upstate that is really important?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely, Rick. We have to. If you come to a place like the University of South Carolina, you have to embrace everything that it stands for. And the reality is it's a very intense rivalry with our boys up in Clemson. And I like to think that there's good sportsmanship in any competition. I'm all about sportsmanship. I'm all about winning and competing, but you like to see it done within reason. And I don't know. I know from my standpoint, I want to try to keep our team, level-headed from the standpoint of focusing on just playing good baseball.
Yes, I shot that interview with Coach Mainieri last week before he got his first win against Clemson last night. So now he is 1-3, and you heard him say there, he has a greater understanding of how just important this rivalry is to both sides.
Yeah, no, absolutely, Rick. And we've heard Eric Bakich talk about it the whole time he's been at Clemson, and specifically this time leading up to it, just how important this rivalry is. But there's been a lot that's gone on before we've gotten to this rivalry game, right? Season's only been underway for about 2 weeks, like we talked about a little bit ago, and Clemson's really been firing on all cylinders prior to last night in that game. I know they ended up getting shut out 7-0, but before that, that really hasn't been the story for this team. This team has was on an 8-0 win streak to start the year. Granted, they had played all of their games at Doug Kingsmore Stadium, but that said, they're coming off quite a year last year, making another postseason appearance under Coach Eric Bakich. They came into the year ranked 20th in the country, but the squad looks a lot different than it looked last year. They've got 19 newcomers. 12 of those guys are freshmen out of high school. A couple of the other ones are transfers. They're missing some high-energy, fan-favorite guys like Cam Canarella that were there for a couple years that are no longer with the team. So we talked about the Gamecocks team finding its identity, maybe being able to do so through some losses, maybe through some wins like that solid win over the Tigers last night. Clemson's probably in that same boat a little bit of finding its rotation that it likes, finding the guys that are going to produce the offense, finding where they fit in the lineup. I think that's what a lot of these early games are for. But what they've been doing so far has been working, guys. I mean, they're averaging over 7 runs a game. As a unit, they're batting over 300. I mean, they're doing the right things. The pitching staff has an ERA of 1.43, which is pretty solid so far for them. Obviously, that was eclipsed a little bit last night in that game, but they've been really solid so far, and that's kind of been the nature of Coach Bakic's teams, is that they've just been able to be consistent and get it done when they need to get it done. They've had a couple series sweeps over some high-caliber teams like Army West Point. Bryant is no slouch either, the team that they swept most recently just this past weekend. So this team has got a lot of positives going for it right now as well, and I think that this rivalry game is a great opportunity for both teams, like we've been talking about, to get a couple of high-caliber Power 4 wins that are really going to show up from a resume perspective.
Yeah, the one thing that really sticks out to me about that Clemson team, the pitching staff, and ERA under 2, 1.43.
Insane numbers,
yeah,
right?
That is really strong. And last night, what really hurt them, a couple of wild pitches, an error. So we'll see if they can tighten that up. But when you have pitching like that and a good amount of offense, you're going to win a lot of games and set yourself up for perhaps to make a nice postseason run. So we'll see what Amp Lee can do against those Clemson batters today. South Carolina's starting pitcher for today.
Well, and I think something that's so interesting, and we talked about this a lot last night, is you look at these records and what that should mean. Records don't mean anything when you get into this rivalry, because there's so much intensity, there's so much focus, and you can catch somebody slipping on any given night, even if you are technically on paper the better team. So I think that was what was so interesting about last night's game, is South Carolina really wanted it, they really needed it, and they got it, but that doesn't mean that today Clemson's just going to, let the whole series fall to the wayside. I think they're going to come back. They're going to come back in a big way, and we'll have to see how game 2 goes, but they're a really good team, and hearing how the Gamecocks were talking about them, we talked to Josh Gunther, last night's starting pitcher, before the series started, and he'd faced Clemson twice at Wake Forest, and he had a lot of complimentary things to say about Clemson, but he also said, hey, this is a completely different team. Like you said, there's a lot of people who aren't there anymore, and this is a whole new team, but they're still cranking out those wins, and we'll have to see how the rest of this series goes. But hey, speaking of Clemson, we've got Carmine Jamay down in the dugout, and he is ready to give us a little something with head coach Eric Bakich. Come on, Carmine, what we got?
Yeah, guys, I'm standing by with one of my favorite people to speak with, Clemson head coach Eric Bakich. Now, Coach, tough one last night.
Thanks for saying that.
No problem.
Yeah,
it's the truth. Yeah. But tough one yesterday. I know you mentioned flushing it, getting it out of your system. Yeah. But what was your message to the guys to turn things around here at Segra Park?
Yeah, that's it. Just got to turn the page, and everything that happened yesterday has nothing to do with what's going to happen today. So it's history. It's gone. Now we learn from it. We overthrew the cut, we threw to the wrong base, we this, that, and the other thing. So certainly things we can take away and make adjustments on, but today's about competing, and today's about just doing whatever we have to do to even this thing up and come out on top.
And I know when we talked pregame, you were mentioning looking forward to seeing how the team handles its first away game, hostile environment, adversity. What do you think the learning moments that you can take into this one here?
Well, that's the learning is today. Like we certainly saw we didn't handle that environment well. We had a very poorly played game in all phases, but the learning will be, how do we respond today? How are we going to get up off the mat, dust ourselves off, and get off our heels and come out swinging?
Right. Ooh, yeah, true. And like you mentioned, the hay's in the barn, the work's ready to be proven, and you're going up against the guy you've seen before in Amp Phillips, former USC Upstate pitcher. Now he's over at the Gamecocks. He played pretty well against you guys in the 2 meetings, including the regional. The key to success against him and getting these bats back in order.
Yeah, no question. He's a very talented pitcher. He's got good stuff. He's got fastball, curveball, changeup, and we're just going to have a disciplined approach. One approach with nobody on, another approach with runners in scoring position, and then we got to cash in. We got to capitalize on our opportunities. But today we got to create our own opportunities by being aggressive. And when you're backed into a corner, because this series, if we're just looking at the Palmetto series in isolation, we're in the corner, and we're going to sit there and take it. We're going to get off our heels, and we're going to,
see what happens. We'll just see what happens.
Yeah, I'm sure you are. And last one for you, Coach, the atmosphere here at Segra Park. Last time, a couple years ago, that awesome moment with Andrew Truffaut hitting the walk-off home run in 12 innings. What do you expect as far as the atmosphere and your guys leaning into the chaos like you enjoy?
Same thing, yeah. The atmosphere in this series is second to none. It's literally like one of the driving factors besides two good teams. But it's one of the driving factors of what makes the rivalry series the best in college baseball. So I would expect that the atmosphere tonight, or today, this afternoon, will be as good or better as anything we've seen, and we just want to use it to our advantage and try to generate as much Clemson momentum as we can, since today will be, might not be a 50-50 crowd, but there'll be more Clemson fans here today than there were last night.
And a bonus one, Coach. The next 2 hours up until the first pitch, what are the most important things for you to take care of and for the team to take care of to get in that perfect mindset and get ready for it?
We're just executing a routine. I mean, there is no like, hey, we got to do something different. Hey, we played like crap, we flush it, we move on. But our routine is our routine. That's why we use the term 20-mile march. We're not going to do more, do less just because we played like crap yesterday. So we have a routine that we'll stick to. We're going to get ready for a team walkout here in a minute after they get their arms loose. We'll go dominate pregame infield, outfield, and we'll just stay ready for first pitch.
Well, thanks for dominating this interview, Coach, like you always do.
Well,
Appreciate
you
the
do,
time.
Carm. You're the talent, baby. I'm just here supporting you.
All right,
Go
thanks,
Tigers.
Coach. Eric Bakich ready to go for no, as he always says, and we'll see what happens here at Segra Park. I'm going to sprint back up because I'm so motivated by the coach and join you guys at the desk, but for now, back to you.
Well, obviously, Eric Bakich had some great stuff to say during that interview with Carmine. Carmine Jamay also has a full extended one-on-one interview with Coach Bakich on our website at foxcarolina.com if you're looking for more comments from him. But for now, we're going to get another look at what the weather is going to do as we get closer and closer to this game getting going at 3 p.m. here. So we're going to send this over to Chandler. Chandler, what's going on?
Yeah, we're a little cool out here with the clouds so far today, but, things are slowly improving. We are starting to see a little bit of a break in the cloud cover, especially if you're looking up and outside on your way into the ballpark and you see the clouds close to the ground. If you can see where there's a little bit of white in between some of the darker grays, that's where the drier air filtering in to break up the cloud cover. Looking over Segra Park this afternoon, and things slowly improving for us. And since we have been locked in with cloud cover since this morning, temperatures still a little bit on the cool side right now. All across the Midlands, we've got 50s on the board, 54 in Newberry, a little more sunlight starting to come out in Newberry as well. So we're getting there. Just going to take a little bit more time as we can continue to break up the cloud cover. And you can see it slowly moving towards the coast and the low country on our satellite radar loop here. Improvements have been made already across Newberry, Saluda counties, and into the upstate. And so we're getting there. We're going to get these clouds to continue to slowly clear out as we head throughout the next couple of hours. And just keep in mind that it's a slow and steady process, but as the sunlight starts to filter through, there will be some improvements, not only, of course, having some more sunlight around, but also with our temperatures as well. And they'll continue to climb into the 60s, especially once we get the sunlight to break through. That's definitely going to allow for us to get a lot warmer and pretty quickly at that as well. And so closer to first pitch, I think we're going to be partly to mostly cloudy. Sunlight will be filtering in there at 3:15 at first pitch, and that'll continue to happen as we head throughout the next couple of hours, closer to the 4 and 5 o'clock hour. That's our peak high today. I think we're going to make it into the mid-60s, especially as we break up this cloud cover and we get a little bit more sunlight to filter in. I've got First Alert Future radar queued up for you so far this morning and into the afternoon. It's done a great job at showing the clouds in place and also slowly showing the drier air filter in and allow for some sunlight to get through. A little quick in its pace as far as getting the cloud cover to move to the south and to the east, but surely, especially by 3, 4 o'clock this afternoon, I think that's where we're going to start to get more of the sunlight to break through. That'll start to get rid of the cloud cover as the drier air continues to filter in from our north and from our west. And that'll continue through us through the rest of the afternoon and into the early evening, especially once we get closer to the 5 and 6 o'clock hours. I think there's going to be a lot more sunlight. A nice sunset is ahead for us. And then as we head into the night tonight, clouds are going to clear pretty quickly. Temperatures are going to cool off fast as well. We'll be in the low 40s overnight tonight tonight and into tomorrow morning. Warm for your Sunday, close to 80 degrees. How about that? A little cooler at the start of next week. Before you know it, in true Carolina fashion, we're up into the 80s heading into next weekend. But the good news, y'all, is that we're slowly getting back to some sunlight. Things are going to be nice for us, and couldn't ask for some better weather for baseball. I know last night we had the rain. No rain in the forecast today, and we'll slowly get some sunshine back.